Maybe something like this. Okay, adjusting. Let me see. Okay, that's good. You see, Skelly. All right, perfect. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Assis, and you're here in the About Hands community. And today we're going to be working with this concept of relaxation and trying to understand what that actually means, especially in the context of dance. So I know there are a lot of cues, usually coming as, sorry, this is annoying, usually coming as just relax at you. And this was what sparked this online online workshop today. So the first thing to note is that it is actually a very good advice. Relaxing is actually good advice. The thing is that it's not as straightforward and easy as it sounds, and especially when you are in motion. So we need to put it into context. So, what I think at a first level frustrates us is the fact that it's provided as a just do that, it's fine. So that usually does not work out, and it that creates more annoyance, and that leads to more tension, etc., etc., etc. So with that in mind, we discussed, and you'll find all these discussions on the blog at bouthands.com. We discussed of how we can rephrase this, and specifically the cue was uh, just relax and feel the connection. So we thought, okay, can we rephrase this in a way that it is actually an actionable um, cue, actionable advice? So instead, we came up with relax to connect. And I'll try to be as brief as possible, so not to take away from our movement portion of the class. So let's set a few important factors here. Relaxing. When we say relax in the movement practice context, we do not mean lying on the couch. Relax. So when we say relax in this context means having lower tone. So what does tone mean? So you've probably heard muscle tone or postural tone. So it is the tone that your muscle has at rest. That's what the definition is. So what usually happens, let's say what actually happens as an example. So what usually happens is that we over engage the muscle uh, when we are during our dance, and that's what sparks the teacher to say to us, just relax. So it means that you are engaging muscle. Most likely, we can't be in someone's mind, but most likely it means that they see that you are over engaging muscle without that being necessary at that moment. So you could relax, meaning you could lower your tone. Um, so in that context, I think you can better understand what you can better relate to what relax means and what the other person is asking you to do. The question though is how do you find this lower tone that we are talking about, and how does lowering the tone relate to connection? So I thought that one of the best ways uh, to explore that, explore the tone of explore that lowering of the tone in the body, is actually going through the gateway that we call fascia. And very, very quickly, I promise we'll start exploring in just a couple seconds. Very, very quickly, I want to tell you what fascia is, and then we'll get to working on that. So sorry, I'm looking at two screens because I have you on two different screens here. So our fascia, as a general term, if we want to give it a general description of what it is uh, there's a little bit of debate of what constitutes fascia, but generally the more fluid based and irregular multi-directional forms of connective tissue are considered to be fascia. And as I said, it has this fluid, jello-y quality to it, and it feeds. Let's put it that way. It feeds in order to have good, good healthy fascia. It feeds off hydration and mechanical stimulation. Um, by mechanical stimulation, we mean any pressure, massage, shaking, vibration, movement. Um, that's kind of those are a few examples of mechanical stimulation. The more types of mechanical stimulation you have in, the healthier your fascia would be. And um, also, um, fascia adapts to a new requirement. So fascia over time, for example, will increase in volume and density at the back of our neck. If you're constantly holding your phone and typing like this, will increase to support this new position of your head. So and if you are, for example, moving less, giving it less stimulation, it does tend to change its quality and go become less elastic and less of a cushion and less of this flexibility that it has for allowing things to slide and move through it. So with these first quick words on fascia, let me just, where's my screen here? Okay, good. So let's let's do a little experiment, and then these things are going to start making sense. Just going to put this down. So I want you to find, like, right under, this is your clavicle bone right here, your clavicle. Right underneath there is a little nook usually. If you press, you start pressing. If you press too much, you're going to find the meaty part, which is muscle. And now release some of that pressure, and you're going to notice that there is a different quality of material there. And that is, if you are very gentle in your pressure, that is your fascia. And you'll notice it has this fluid and jello-y uh, consistency. And I want to invite you to just move it around. So little movement like this, it is part of what we were talking about, stimulation. So move it around, feel this quality and feel what it does to the rest of your body. It's like has a tendency to relax and allow you to yield, which is exactly what we want, what we're working on today. So, and you can go up and down, you can go in little circles. And if you start pressing harder, you're going to be in the muscle. So this is why I chose this spot, because it's very easy to find the fascia. And of course, you can do it on the other side as well if you want. Like, so it's very interesting. It has a very different quality to it. And maybe you're already feeling relaxed, which is great. So with this in mind, this is going to be our gateway to Um, relax to connect. Fascia is going to be our gateway. And fascia covers your whole body, including the organs. It goes through the muscle. And it is that thing that allows for, as we said, that um, slide. So it allows our organs to slide around each other. So it is very important to keep a healthy fascia. So let's leave this for just a second. And I want us to go through the fascia lines of our arms. And that will be our gateway to exploring the connection part. So you'll notice that, as we said, it's a web. It connects everything. Everything is connected through the fascia. And let me just, if you're feeling ready for it, you can stand up as well with me. There. Okay. Let's see. All right. So let's start with the fascia line that connects our thumb. Starts from our thumb and it goes in between the two bones. And I want you to be very gentle, the same way, as gentle as you were when you were pressing around your collarbone. Comes up, right? And then hugs the bicep. And then comes across and connects through the minor to the sternum. So if you have one hand here on the sternum and you very gently massage this area, you will feel like a little tickle in your thumb. And that's the fascia web. It's like, ah. So if you and you can do this with me, if you engage your bicep and make a fist, you'll notice that you don't have that feedback anymore. So if you are in this position, try to lower the tone of the arm and very gently stimulating the fascia helps. Lower the tone of the arm. So not dead, but still of a lower tone compared to this. Right? And you'll know because then you're going to start as you're gently rubbing, you're going to start feeling that tingling feeling in your thumb. So let's see what other things this might mean. You grab hold of your bicep. And if you start creating this kind of stimulation, again, you're going to feel that your hand wants to engage into it. So I want you to play with this a little bit. The other reason we're starting with the arms, so it takes the torso and it takes the thumb into it. Very gentle. You'll see that you see this movement, this is muscle, is very different from this movement. So lower the tone so you can feel this fascial connection. And you'll notice that it's there even from the moment you hug your bicep. Immediately you have the two hands connecting. Let's try this for a bit. And this also invites your torso to turn towards the hand without you doing much. Okay. So we also started from the arms because we are in an embrace in tango. So let's do the same thing for the other side. So starting from the thumb, you go along the forearm, very gently waking up. And then you hug the bicep, right? Hug. And then you cut across the pec minor and you get to the sternum here. And your arm can be up, but notice that's not at a high level and intensely engaged. There we go. So then as you gently rub here, you'll feel, even if you have it down, you can have your arm in any position. Just manage the tone so you get to feel this this web, the fascia web. Good. And when you have that tingle, you can change over and hug the bicep, and you'll see that you're like, the hand is reacting. Very gentle rotation. And here again, you're not gripping, very gentle pressure and feeling that that fascia, the quality of the fascia, how it's that jello-y feel that it has. So see how low this is compared to creating a movement from engaging the muscle to create this movement, engaging more muscle to create this movement. Okay, so just a visual. All right, so this is the thumb, and of course we have another line that says from the pinky, goes on the outside of the arm, engages the rotator, engages the wrist, goes again between the bones, but on the other side of the arm this time. It hugs our triceps. It hugs our triceps. And then it goes up and along the back. And it connects to the base, midway to the base of your neck. Let's put it this way. And so if you are, maybe take this off. There we go. If you are gently pressing here, this is actually, the neck is actually a nice spot to find fascia. Find that quality that we explored at the front before. So very gentle pressure. And once you find it, you'll have a tingling feeling at the pinky. Is that what you call it for our hands? I'm not sure. Anyways. So you feel that if you're very gentle, you can feel that connection between the hand, the outer edge of the hand, and the neck. And it is very relaxing, of course. So now let's do the other side. Pinky, gently rubbing to stimulate outer edge, tricep. There we go. This is better. And coming to mid neck. Very gentle. You'll know if you press too hard, you'll know like you're in the muscle. But keeping a gentle pressure, you'll get that jello-y quality of the fascia. And now you're going to get a little, it's almost like a pressure or a tingle at the for the hand, at the outer edge of the hand. So play with it. We'll have time to play with these a little bit, but just for now to get a feel of this web. Okay. And then we have the top or the back of the hand, actually. This is the back. And the fascia line here, actually, of course, it also travels up, hugs the deltoid, and then cuts across and hugs your trapezius muscle and goes up to the base of your neck. So right here. So down your neck, up, the whole trapezius, deltoid, down the hand, right here. So it's quite interesting if you find this connection between the wrist, the hand, and the base of your skull. Try it out. If you tense, if you overly engage the muscle, this doesn't work. And let's try the other side. Let's activate the other side. So here we go. Gentle, gentle rub. You're going up, hugging the deltoid. The trapezius is a little bit uncomfortable to get to, but that's okay. And then you're going up all the way to the base of the neck, of the head. So where your skull is sitting. And if you bring this arm up, you can have a fascial connection. You can feel the fascial connection through flexing the fascia in this way. You can have a hand on the neck. It will actually be easier to feel. Okay. And now I think the one that's the most exciting for tango dancers, the palm, the line of the palm. So the line of the palm, of course, covers the palm and then goes up, and then it cuts across and goes across the pec major, but it also hugs the back. So it's like a sandwich of a fascia line through the front and the back. Like this. So you have your fascia web running in this way, which is quite cool, right? So when you are hugging someone, you're bringing them into this sandwich. So if you find you can't do this with muscle, like it will look like you're doing it, but you're not. You don't have the same experience of it. You are doing it, but you're not having the same experience of it. So if you lower the tone of the arm just enough to just create this movement, you'll tap into the fascia. And maybe if you have a scarf like I do, you can have it around your back, helping you stimulate this back portion of the sandwich, and you can have the hand on the front stimulating the front portion. and you have this wave of. So when you're coming in an embrace, you have the two sandwiches from your hands to your back hugging. So you're hugging really with your whole body, the other person. So let's try the other side. You have the fascia on the palm. It goes up. It hugs the front and sandwiches you through the back. So you have this. And so if you find the right tone for your arm, and your arm might look different than mine, everyone has a different tone, then you'll have. You can play with this. So if you relax enough to the right amount, you can feel how all of these things really feel how they're connecting to the fascia level, at least, because there are other connections to explore. So before put the music on for our first exploration, I want us to get more into this fascia wave. And we're going to do it in this way. Start with rubbing your hands one against the other, very gently, not aggressively, very gently. And you're going to let the fingers interlace just a bit, very gently. So the level of muscle engagement here is as much as you need to just stand. You're not really doing much. And feel this fascia line warming up from the heat that you're generating as you're rubbing one hand against the other. Feel your skin and feel how this warmth expands and hugs your front and back sandwich. And then gently relax the rubbing and instead very gently start circling the hands. And now you know how these connections are happening, so it should not be a surprise if you start to feel like, whew, I need to go to bed now. It's fine. That's great. So very gentle movement. And you can start playing with where this movement can take you. And that means that other parts of the body that, as we saw, are on these fascial lines are like, you know what? I want to be part of this wave. So we're gonna let them do it. Yeah, we're gonna let them be part of the fascia wave. But see how my tone is very low, very low. It's low, and I'm keeping it there. I'm not. I'm waiting before I engage more muscle. I don't need it at this moment. And your hands can change levels. Right? So this movement takes my body different places, but I'm not engaging more muscle than I need. So this is why you see my tone is still quite low. Right? And now the legs are like, you know what? I want to be part of this fascia wave. Wait, I feel that I'm missing out. Right? So, and the hips too, and things are starting to soften. Right? And they're like, yeah, I just want to follow this wave. And they do. And somehow things fall into place without you really working hard for it. And if I just step back so you can see my feet, you'll notice that, yeah, you'll notice that my heels are like, yeah, I don't want to push into the floor. I want to move around. Yeah. And they are. And your knees are also soft because they want to be part of the fascia wave. Everything wants to be part of the fascia wave. So now maybe your hands are, each of them takes its own path. And remember, we saw this and we saw the opposite. And your legs are still being part of the fascia wave. So as you go, I'm going to invite you to keep going. I'm just going to put some music on and we're going to keep playing with this. Okay, so, oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, here we go. Audio, share. Perfect. There we go. So I'm going to lead you into it, and then you can go ahead and have fun. Okay. So let's start. Gentle rubbing. Lower the tone. Don't engage more muscle than you absolutely need to. Gentle movement of the hands. Maybe other parts want to be joining the wave. And now it's up to you. Go for it. Okay. All right. Let's pause. Okay. So, oops, where am I? Here I am. Okay. So let's keep on working on this. And we're going to take a little break from playing around with the fascia. I'm just gonna move this back a little. Okay, so let me bring Skelly in. So what happens, why I have half Skelly here? So let's see what happens when we start to move. We take the time to build on this type of movement and not overly engaging the muscle, finding and exploring the fascia web. But what happens when we get stuck and suddenly you need to, maybe you have moments where you snap out of the fascia wave because something is pulling you in a different direction. So that's why I want us to introduce here the different types of movement that we can have in a joint. So let's stick with arms. And if we look at the elbow, we're going to see that we have the distal type, where it's the element that's further away from the center moves, and this is distal movement. So we're moving distally, another way to say it. Now, if we keep this and move the element that's closer to the center, we have proximal movement. Right? So this stays, but this moves. And this you already recognize as your classic bicep curl. And a lot of fitness moves are distal movement because distal is the toughest one because it isolates the specific muscle from the rest of the body, and that makes it work harder. So distal is harder than proximal. And then we have central movement, where both sides are moving together. So if I had my weight here and I wanted to bring it closer to me, there are three ways to do it. Bring the weight, don't move the body. Bring the body to the weight, or move body and weight together. And the central movement is the easiest one. And as you can see, it involves the whole body. So as you're trying these movements, let's look at this. And now we're looking at shoulder joint, right? So as if we are to focus on the shoulder joint, this would be distal. This would be proximal, yes, somehow. And this is central movement. So if you do central movement, you'll notice it is a full body movement. And it actually requires less work, which means it would allow you to keep the level of your tone lower. Doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it, right? You can add tone to it, right? But it's an easy way to explore, an easier way to explore fascia, central movement. Easier way to explore fascia. Plus, you're not isolating any part of your any particular muscle or muscle group. Right? Central movement. So if we were to Yes, let me take, before we go to Scully, I was like, okay, I needed a moment. All right. So if we were to look at building our embrace from this, you have you have this element. So it's the palm lines, and you'd be bringing your partner. And as you bring your body to your partner, you bring your partner to you, right? So that's one element. Thank you, Scully. Then you have either this, so this hand is doing this. This is the sandwich line, right? So this hand as a leader is doing this. This hand as a follower is doing this if you're holding your partner from the back, right? And then you have a follower in this position and you have a leader in this position. Now for the leaders, this is actually quite comfortable because you are right in that hammock, and we'll hopefully have an opportunity under in a different workshop to look at the hammocks. But if you are to again gently press, find this line, you feel the tickle at your a tingle, not a tickle, a tingle at your thumb. You found that line, and you flush out the movement that you can have there. It can bring you up to here, right? For followers, this part is there, but then somehow you need to turn it in the other direction in order to rest. So again, gentle pressure, find it. Right? And then maybe engaging this line. So where you place your arm is going to be very important in finding this kind of not disrupting the fascia and taking advantage basically of its elasticity. So maybe you need to take more advantage of this line, the back line that comes along your tricep here as you hold on to your partner. Yeah. So let's see it one more time. As a leader, I want you play with this, bringing your partner to you as you bring your body to your partner. The sandwich line, palm and sandwich. As a follower for this hand, if you have your hand on his bicep, on his um, on his shoulder, there we go. Um, you can still work with this. If you have your hand on his scapula, you still work with this as well. Um, if you tend to grab the deltoid of your partner, then again, it's more of this line. So finding the back and how it brings your neck into the game. And for the leaders on the other side, holding here, grab into the bicep, very gently, massage it, find this tingle for the thumb, and see how these two work together. It's very cool, right? So right here, okay. And then for the followers on the other side, for your right, you engage the outer edge, the tricep. It's maybe a little tricep and bicep and tricep, one line and the other. So maybe one line, this line to bring it up, and then this line to connect. So again, you are also like So it's kind of cool in this way. So let's put Skelly on the side for a moment. Sorry, I got overexcited there. And we're going to put the music back on, and I want you to play with the arms, find your position, either as a leader or as a follower, it doesn't matter, and find, but feel these lines. And if you need reminder, this pec minor with thumb, mid neck with pinky, sandwich for palm, and base of the skull or top of the neck for uh, the back of the hand. So those are the connections. Now put the music back on and see if you can move through and find your embrace. Then let it go and find your embrace again. Let's do the same song. Okay. All right. Let's pause. And um, let's carry on. And what I wanted to get us into is looking at the legs. So, like I said, we chose the arms because we need to feel that the connection is primarily felt in the embrace. So it's very important to find this balancing the tone with the action that you're taking. And I would suggest that when you first start to dance, you take a moment to drop drop the tone, not over-engage the muscle, not go to the muscle right away, and find that connection within yourself, like we played now, and then with your partner. So really feeling that sandwich, this fascial line, and inviting the other person, and really inviting them in and coming to them is important as you start your dance. Now, the other reason why we did arms first was because it's an easier gateway compared to legs. And legs carry us around, so they're very commonly always always engaged. So it's also another thing with most dance forms. And that's not good or bad. Doesn't It just is that they call for equal engagement. Let's say ballet, right? Equal engagement of the leg that's holding your weight and the leg that is free. So this, as you can feel, might be going a little bit against of what we have been discussing here. So with all this in mind, I wanted us to actually look at legs and try to see, like I already invited you to see how this movement actually takes the legs into wanting to join the wave and becoming a little bit softer. So let's come back to this. Take a moment to drop the tone if you went, oh, excitement. Drop the tone, maybe do a little rubbing. And then as you move the hands, keep the tone low. And the rest of the body is like, yeah, I want to join the fascia wave. And now the hips want to join the fascia wave. And I want you to just go from one foot right, and the free leg really joins the arms. It's like, I'm feeling like an arm today. Yeah. And then you shift over, and then the other leg feels like an arm today. I'm like an arm. I'm joining the fascia wave. So you can see that this leg, the tone of this leg is very different from the tone of the free leg. The free leg has a lower tone. So continue with this, and the free leg becomes like an arm. Yeah, I'm joining the fascia wave. And what's the benefit of this is like it really works. It really gives you much more options compared to engaging in one specific direction. If you have a lower tone leg, you can swing it around. You can swing it around. Right. So, anyways, that's a side note. So, dropping the tone. But in order to do that, we want to have, it's easier to do that, like we said, with central movement. So if you have the tendency of shifting your weight and being up here, this will be very difficult to, right? So that's why we want to see how you can centrate in the hips. And we're going to see what centrate means. And make the movement in the hip joint central movement. Okay. So I'm just going to bring Skelly in close for the last few minutes of our class. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is good. I think. So, hips. Skelly is a relatively good representation of the human body. Well, our pelvis is not facing you, like exposed in this way, but he has a rod going through, so that's the problem. But aside from that, where our bowl is a little bit more in this direction, but aside from that, he is a good representation of what the structure looks like. Let's put it that way. So we have the acetabulum, which is a concave, has a concave structure. And then we have the femur head, which is a ball. So, and then we have the neck of the femur, and we have the greater trochanter, which is the mass here. And you can see that this mass is almost the same as the femur head. This is another interesting element. Now, for this joint to be centrated, imagine like this is like a hat, and this is the little head, and we want the hat to cover the head as you are moving. So if I, for example, take Skelly here, you'll see that most of the head is exposed. So this is not, the hip is not centrated. If though, I was like, okay, no, Skelly, you need to have this head covered, and I centrated his hip, the head will be covered by the hat. But that would mean that he would look like this. And this is actually what we look like, interestingly enough, if you are moving in a centrated fashion. So, oops, I messed them up, doesn't matter. Let's try to find it. And one of the reasons we're doing this with a hip, because it's actually easier. You have access to it. So here, you can imagine your hat. Your hat is not covering the whole head. The head is going to be exposed. And you know where the head is. If you press your hip out, you can feel the greater trochanter. And then the femur head is very close to it, has the same bulge. So you can use a little bit of massage, a little pressure, and then you'll notice that if you move the hat and the hip and the hat and the head in a specific way, centrally, the hat will always cover the head, which is what we want. And you can have one hand on the pelvis, one hand at the front, gently pressing, because there are other things there that we need to be gentle with. So as you're shifting the weight, if you find centration over the leg that you're standing on, and you wiggle the other leg, shake, 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 you'll notice that it will seek centration as well, and it will loosen up and tone. Let's try the other side. Find the greater trochanter, go across. And with even just sensing the greater trochanter, you can find the hip centration as well. So notice how much easier this is. Ease of movement, you're using less muscle, you're doing less work for the same action. Allows you to connect the whole body into this, because as we said, central movement requires the whole body to move. And this way you can relax the other leg so that you can whip it around. So, with all this in mind, let's put one last song. I know it's a lot of information. We're gonna use other workshops to get more and more into it. I really think that going through the arms is the easiest way to get a feel of this. So let's do one last song. See if you can bring the legs into the game. Take moments if you need to find centration of the hip. Feel secure over that one that's holding your weight, and then wiggle the other around so you can relax it and feel how it really feels to have a free leg, not dedicated to one specific direction and specific movement as it's freeing up. Okay, here we go. Go. All right. So Thank you very much for joining me. I know it was a lot of information. We'll try to, not we'll try, we will dissect it. Oops, I'm sorry. The music's still playing. In in workshops to come. Uh, I invite you to play with this level of tone, and your tone might be better, might be different than mine. You might be lower tone or higher tone. So it is interesting gateway of starting to understand your body better and building on these connections that already exist. Plus, um, keeping a healthy fascia really changes your quality of movement and how you feel. Uh, Keeping this elasticity is very important. So, hydration and mechanical stimulation, moving around, pressure, massage, vibration, all of these great stuff are actually really good for you. So, they're going to change your tango, but they're also going to make a change in your daily life. So, stay tuned. There's going to be more coming, and I'm going to post a recording of this workshop so you can follow along. It's going to stay with you on YouTube. So thank you very much. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.